Well, welcome one and all to Beating the One-Day Close, closing VC deals with relationship intelligence. My name's Holly Ransom. I'm thrilled to be able to host this conversation today, and we have a phenomenal panel of industry experts, leading lights of the venture capital world, to talk to us about relationship management, to talk to us about trends and transformation in the VC world, to share their insights and their experiences in a way that can inform each and every one of you and the way that you're going about your work and business. Just so you're aware, we're going to be sending out the recording at the end of today's event, so you'll have access to this. So feel free to write notes as you go, but you'll also have the benefit of the recording after the fact. And if you have any questions, please reach out to webinars@affinity.co, and they'll be happy to answer any of the questions that you have. Now, joining us for today's conversation, we have Ray Zhou, co-founder and CEO of Affinity. We have Harry Stebbings, the host of popular podcast 20-Minute VC and the founder and CEO of venture capital fund 20 VC. And we have Zhou Oetting, the co-founder of AVC, a San Francisco-based venture capital firm that's focused on smart enterprise and bio IT. Welcome, all of you. It's wonderful to have you here. I know there's a lot of kind of background and relationships already that exist between this trio, so looking forward to that coming to light over the conversation as well. But Ray, I'm going to throw to you first. You're sort of convening today's conversation in many ways. The one-day close title, I'm interested in that in the context of Affinity. Found it fascinating that you've processed more than 18 trillion emails in capturing what you kind of term the relationship data exhaust. I'm interested, why the title for today's event, and what have you learned through 18 trillion emails worth of trawling?
Thanks so much, Holly. Yeah, it's a really good question, and we are very excited to host this webinar, and Harry and Zhou, who are awesome and great friends of Affinity's network and everything. So yeah, I think the title of sort of kind of the topic or the discussion today, it kind of stems from the importance of relationships and sort of the future of relationship intelligence and how sort of VCs, investors will think about, closing great investments, building more meaningful relationships in the future. And you're right, as a company, it's sort of been an insane ride since we started, building our product. Our infrastructure has processed 18 trillion emails. Essentially, in the process of that, we've learned that VCs are hyper-connected. Like, this is arguably one of the most connected, if not the most connected industries in the world. I think on a pure numbers basis, when you look at the sheer volume of email activity, and by extension, the number of people and companies that investors like Harry and Zhou know in the world, it's just a different order of magnitude and scale compared to other industries. Maybe some stats I can share, I can throw out. So on average, what we've seen is an investor would have to spend over 180 sort of continuous hours per year to enter all of the relevant relationship data by hand that they have about every contact, every company they want to keep track of. And we've measured and learned that over time, sort of building Affinity. Also, introductions are key. Since as a relationship intelligence platform, we're able to automatically classify introductions. We can measure the total volume or number of introductions that our users are making over any given time span. And right now, in total, across our user base, that's over 500K a month, which is a lot. Introductions and how you leverage your social capital, we've really seen them to be the building block that drives sort of the best investing activity, the most effective investors. And then the other thing I would say is deal activity is also at an all-time high. So when we look across our user base, our users are managing now and tracking over 450K deals a month on Affinity. Overall, I think it's become quite apparent over, especially the past year, during COVID, this industry it's exploding. I think the total global AUM in private capital eclipsed something like $7 trillion in the last few months, according to Financial Times. And so our takeaway really in the middle of all of that is, beyond sort of observing these patterns about how investors are the most hyper-connected industry, it's more connected now than it ever has been. There is a sort of massive and growing need and market for what we call relationship intelligence. Like, we're living in a world where people are drowning in data. They're more connected than ever. They're transacting on more deals. There's more opportunities than ever before. When you just look at those numbers, it's futile to manage it all by hand, right? Like, maybe more than 2 decades ago, the handwritten Rolodex would have worked at the VC industry's inception, and now it's obsolete. And I think what we're seeing now is that even the digitized version of the manual Rolodex, like when you talk about spreadsheets or legacy CRM, it can't keep up with the complexity of the communications and connections and relationships that drive venture capital. So that's really sort of the initial need that we saw when we built Affinity, and it's something that we continue to see moving forward.
Harry,